What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Sunday edition MLB Smoke Shop, where we give out our best MLB bets of the day. Today is June 5th, a beautiful Sunday up here in the Northeast. I'm Dave Gloeckner. Gloeck, that's Tech Money, Tech, and it's the Gloeck Tek Show. What's up, brother?
What's going on?
Oh, man, I can't tell you much. I mean, the Phillies are starting to get hot. Makes me feel good. I don't know if they got anything left in them, but the schedule eases up, so it's fun seeing them start to hit the ball, fire the manager, have some fun. So good stuff up here, I think.
I agree. And I know it was funny. I was just peeping back, in hindsight, looking at box scores and some replays on over the weekend. And I was like, Friday night, we got some runs going. I noticed some more runs and home runs and stuff coming in. I don't know if it was just like a couple day trend or something, but that's what it felt like. So maybe we carry that into today.
I think the weather could be part of that,
Definitely.
But who knows? Who knows?
Definitely.
I mean, it's definitely helping out. Things are starting to tick up a little bit. And let's start with one of your favorite plays of the day. You've been hot on the show the last 3 weeks, nailing your best bets. Give it to the people.
All right. So today, something different, because I'm very vocal about doing parlays against parlays. Very vocal. Usually I'm against doing parlays, but I think I got something here today. So let's talk about this. So it's going to be a little unique. We're going to throw in Zach Thompson to have over 1.5 walks. So he's a Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher. And we're going to combine that with the Houston Astros first 5 innings money line. And when we put that together, we get plus 118 at DraftKings. At least that's where I got it before the show. And here's why I like this. So last night, if you're following me on Twitter, I had for the first time put out a walks prop bet. And I've been thinking about it for a while, but I just wanted enough data for this season to really start saying where I would want to engage on that, right? Where I would want to attack it. And I think last night I saw, and we attacked it. I tweeted it out there. It helped. It allowed us to go 1-1 and plus green. If you were following me yesterday, we did Peterson for the Mets to go over 2.5 walks, and it was plus 145 odds. Same strategy here. I'm going to just jump into today's scenario, and you'll understand why we did it yesterday and cashed it. But what you get today, okay, yesterday, the Dodgers as a team walked 10.2% as a team. Remember, 10% and higher is a red flag. If you're a pitcher, if you're giving that up, if you're a team offense, that's stellar. That's the second highest walk rate as a team in the Major League Baseball this season, right behind the Diamondbacks by 0.2%. So the Diamondbacks are first in the league that walks at 10.4%. The Dodgers are 10.2%. Now, here's the great part about this. You do get Zach Thompson, who he himself this season so far is allowing 8.4% walk rate. That's something I think we can attack because we're getting a Diamondbacks at a 10.4% walk rate. We want to attack a pitcher at 10% or higher. 8.4 is not far off. I'm going to give it a leeway because you're getting the Diamondbacks at 10.4 on the offensive side. So I like the Diamondbacks to get over 1.5 walks here against Zach Thompson. Now, the other good thing we have is Thompson's a righty, and the Diamondbacks are going to be coming heavy left side. Heavy. I think they may only have one right-handed batter today in Walker, and the other 3 are switch hitters, so they'll come to the left anyway, if that's what their plan is, I'm assuming. So I think we get a scenario here where Thompson could get in trouble, and I think that high walk rate for the pitcher and the batter is in our favor. That's why I like this parlay, because by itself, they have Zach Thompson at minus 200. I just don't believe minus 200 is worth a prop bet because you never know with these players. What if he gets a muscle pull or something? I'm thinking of something randomly in the second inning. You just don't want to risk a minus 200 on a prop, my opinion. Now, others might think differently. Now, we're parlaying that up with Astros first 5 money line. Now, remember, when you're doing the first 5s, and the money line is usually very expensive. I think last I looked, it was over, I think around 210 we got it, right, into the parlay, minus 210. Now, remember the thing about the money line in the F5. You actually have a 66% chance not to lose your money because you either win or you get a push, because in the money line, if it's a tie score, you get your money back. So I like that edge we get there.
Yep.
I'm not going to do the run line here because we're doing a parlay. When I do a parlay, it's more of like, I don't use the word lock, but how close can we get to a lock, a mental lock? So that's why I'm saying, look, I'm not going to do the run line and get even stronger odds. I'm going to do the Astros first 5 money line, put it here. Now, the Astros first 5 money line, simple. We attacked Heasley last week on this show with the Indians, and we cashed it. We got lucky, though. What I mean by lucky is we needed the over 2.5, I believe it was, the team totals, if I'm not mistaken, and we got it in the bottom of the 5th, if I'm
with
not
2
mistaken.
outs. I was watching
with
the
2
game.
outs, exactly. Ramirez came through. But that's what makes it fun, right? You're sitting there with your family and you're like, or at a barbecue, and you're like, going crazy randomly. So so there we're facing Heasley to cut to the chase. Similar situation as last week's. The stats haven't changed much. Remember, I like looking at, and what caught my eye was that his Sierra, so a projected ERA, his projection of how he's going to play, is at a 6.87. Atrocious, very high. What does it mean to you right now? Nothing if I tell you by itself, but he's got a 4.66 ERA. So they're expecting, analytics and all the stats are expecting that Heasley's not done rolling over, that they're actually projecting his ERA is going to start getting even worse. I think maybe last week he got lucky, if you think about it on that note, because it took him into 5 innings to give up the runs. So if you're thinking about the math, it's like, wait a minute, what just happened here? It favored Heasley. So to also add something to this, which we talked about last week, is this guy's xFIP is at 6.52. And as I mentioned last week, and I'll say it again, it's, I think, the highest xFIP I've been attacking on a pitcher this season. To sum it up to common folks, common viewers, bettors, fans, it just says how lucky he's been. He's gotten lucky. His ERA should be up in the 6s. So the xFIP and the Sierra matches the 6. And if you look down and you dig in, his numbers just aren't that great. We do want to see his batted balls in play higher at 250. I would love to see it higher, but I think we can work with it because, like we said, there's other areas that are bad. 1.40 on an HR per 9. When you have a season that you're not giving up that many home runs, that 1.4, 1.5 might be the new barometer for red flag, when I used to take 1.8 and 2.0. So I just think that this guy, without even going too much into it, it's the Astros. If you watched the game yesterday, I was unfortunately watching it the entire first 6 innings, I'll call it. Astros almost got on the Bubik. I mean, there were so many men on base and just couldn't roll it over.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the controversial call. I don't know how many feeds the MLB has. I know that's never the same as the network, but the networks are also strong with their feeds. The networks didn't have a good camera angle on the controversial call on 3rd inning at second. The bases loaded, 2 outs. There's a controversial call at second base. Some could argue he was safe. If he's safe, the Astros had a run. Astros kind of get a 1-0 lead in the F5, and that's where a lot of people were looking at. I know I was looking at it. So I just think today, if they were able to almost roll over on Bubik, I think they're coming in today with a mission, and they just statistically, they should be able to roll over here on Heasley. And to sum it up, not take too much time, the projected run total, Astros are the 2nd highest at 5.75 today. And remember, Heasley's given up 369 to the left, 373 to the right. So I think Astros are in a prime spot to come back, revenge it up a little bit, and do some damage in the first 5 against Heasley. That's why I like the combination of Zach Thompson to go over 1.5 walks combined with Astros first 5 money line to get it around plus 118 at DraftKings.
Nice. Good. Hey, dude from Pittsburgh, he's just not a very good pitcher. And I played Pittsburgh yesterday. Got a little lucky. Got a walk-off homer in the 9th from Switansky, I think it was. But either way, it was a big win. And now that Pittsburgh's rolling into that momentum today, this is the kind of guy that he kind of slows all that down. So we'll see. But I love the over the walks angle. And I do like the money line in the 5th, especially if you're parlaying, because like you said, it's kind of risk-free that way. You're already buying up for a little bit of odds, and you wouldn't mind a push at that point. So I like it. Hey, I'm going to start with mine. I'm going to go with the Miami Marlins today. Get a little plus money. I've been on with the dogs lately. Hit another one yesterday when I gave you the White Sox on betting for breakfast to rough up Rasmussen. Well, they didn't really, but they still won late. And then today, I like the Marlins. Hit our dogs last week too on this show. Jacob Junis is just not a guy I just see a lot of positive signs with. He gets the job done for the Giants, been pitching fairly well, 2.68 ERA, but that's met with an expected ERA of 4.16. His FIP is almost 4. His K rate's under 20. He's at 18.8%. So he's a guy that really relies on putting the ball on the ground and letting his defenders make the plays. And while that does work for, stretches, there are other times when you start to get really caught up to. He should not be carrying the 2.68 ERA. I think that changes a little bit today. I think Miami's the type of team that is able to lift the ball, tries to hit homers. That's what they do. They're not a heavy homer team, but when you got Soler and some other power hitters, Chisholm will also try and do it. I think they can attack this Junis in the right spots today. Also, to bring up Braxton Garrett, guy that started for them last year, lefty, creative lefty, guy that also pitches to contact, but pitches to contact in heavy ground ball pitcher. AAA this year, ERA about 3.4. He just came off a start where he struck out 5, no walks. He's ready to go. They benched or demoted Eleazar Hernandez. He was terrible, train wreck. So it's Garrett's position to have. He's a highly touted prospect, number 7 pick back in 2016 by this team. Marlins draft pretty well. I kind of think we're getting a little bit of good value in this situation because nobody really knows what Garrett will do when he comes up today. But when we can take advantage of that, we're getting a lower odds than I think we could. It happened again yesterday with Pittsburgh and Roansy Contreras. I like the Marlins, and this could be a big spot for them because they're trying to get their way. The NL East is all trying to push back up to the Mets. Marlins are starting to catch a little fire here, winning a couple in a row. I'll take the Marlins plus 105 today.
I like it. And here's the thing. I just have some personal biasness that I'll throw in first. I always have a list of teams I just won't bet against. I don't bet against the Marlins.
Yeah.
I can't explain why, but I just don't. Now, yesterday, it was a game I was watching. There's this study I'm doing for a long time where I know it's going to sound square, but if a team has an error, they lose the game. But what the study I'm doing is, what if the team has an error and the game's tied or they're not losing yet? And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's why I was watching the Giants and Marlins game yesterday. So after the Astros first 5 feed was done for me, I switched over to the Marlins-Giants game. It was tied 4-4. But what was interesting was, if I'm not mistaken, Giants were leading, I think, big time. And then the Marlins came back late in the game, and then they took it over in the bottom of the 9th. And they were coming in, putting pressure in that bottom of the 9th.
Yep.
And it's just so I think that mojo, and for me, just combining that with, I don't like betting against the Marlins. To me, I like what you're saying, and you're getting a home team, getting a dog line. And you know what I'll always say? Hey, what's that -1 out there in some of those books if some of you can get it for the Marlins? If you like what Gloeck's saying and you want them. And I'm with you on Junis. Just looking over some numbers. Nothing truly scares me. I mean, 22% K rate this year. I believe this is going back to last year and this year. 22% K rate. That's not that great because remember, 20% and below is a red flag. So when you're 20 to 22, you're not saying much. I mean, to have a conversation here with us and our viewers, what are you looking for? Well, if it was 25 or above, then I'm going to worry about it. Let's say for the conversation, if it's 28 or higher, yeah, then I'm definitely worried about it. So I'm not fearing that Junis can come in throwing Ks. Now, I mean, God, on any given day, things happen, but I'm here with you. I noticed his ERA, and I don't like relying on the ERA, but I'm going to always correlate it to something. I see it's at 4.01, whereas that Sierra stats around 3.9. So you're basically accepting whatever you see Junis is as this season is what he's projected to be today. So if he's great, if you think he's great, then okay, he's going to be great today. I don't think he's been great this year, in my opinion. And so that just tells me that he's just going to be a continuance of that inconsistency when you're just looking at the runs he may be allowing. And you don't see anything alarming. Now, he does give a ground ball percentage, but again, to sum it up without wasting too much time, I'm just with you. I just think the advantage here is on the Marlins hype from yesterday's win. I mean, they were coming in, and there's more fans in that stadium, I noticed yesterday, than usual. Usually it's an empty stadium, and there's just a little bit more. Maybe they show back up today. Look, the 311 on base percentage, 314 WOBA, 156 ISO. These are numbers that you respect this year, I think, in the MLB with I'll call a somewhat of a lowered offense. And Junis, right-handed pitcher. Marlins are batting 334 to the right side of the plate. So you can't ask for anything better than that. You should get Marlins to, take advantage of Junis here. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and then like I said, the other side, Garrett is like kind of that unknown. And he comes in, he's a little quirky. He won't blow you away, but he's a guy that can keep you off balance. And the Giants tend to stack their hitters left-handed. I mean, they have a couple on the right side, but I mean with Jock Peterson, Crawford, so they can really they want to keep some of their better guys in. They're going to have some difficult matchups. So I like that side of the plate too. But I know you got another one cooking, Tech. So what else you got?
Yeah, so we're going in on the primetime game tonight, Cardinals versus Cubs, and I took Wainwright to give up over 1.5 walks at minus, I think it was 130 or 135. I'm drawing a blank.
135, you told me.
135, yep. There you go. So I got it at 135. This is so for people that are like, oh, why didn't you parlay with this one? Well, at 135, you can afford to do this by yourself, right? You don't have to parlay with anything. Whereas the Zach Thompson over 1.5 was minus 200, so we put it in with something else that we felt was strong. And in this situation, I don't know if you guys know this. Let's divert the conversation here a bit. If you don't know this, you need to know this now. The Cubs are really good on offense,
especially
amazing.
Yeah, yep.
So especially when you have a baseball that's being played this year, 331 on base percentage, 326 WOBA, 156 ISO, 249 as a team, 40.2% hard hit percentage as a team when you are not getting that type of ball, right? 9.7% walk rate as a team. So basically top third or fourth in the league behind what we just talked about. So the Cubs are disciplined at the plate. They can get the job done when it comes to the walks. Wainwright this year, just like our argument with Zach Thompson, same number, 8.4% walk rate. I think this is a scenario where, and I'm not a fan of Wainwright. Not this year. He's inconsistent. I don't think you can trust him. So when you're just asking to get 2 walks out of him, when statistics show, we covered in the beginning of the show, if you weren't here, a pitcher giving up 10% or higher is a red flag. Waino's at 8.4. I'll give it the leash because you have a team in the Cubs that's almost at 10% by themselves. So that's why I like Wainwright to give up over 1.5 walks tonight, minus 135 at DraftKings. And again, just to keep it simple, that's why I like it. I think the stats speak for itself.
And ever since they put Chris Morel in the leadoff spot, they've averaged 1 run more. Cubs are dangerous. They got 9 walks just yesterday in their doubleheader against the Cardinals. So, man, I'm feeling that bet. I actually like the Cubs a lot tonight. Yep. I'm going to wait and see how my other bets do before I even decide to plug in. Hey, we got one shot out. Cease, what's up, my man? Good checking in. I know last time we talked, we were talking about Girardi. Well, guess what? It only took about 48 hours since we last talked, and he was canned. I think we're both happy about that. Hey, Tech, I'm going to give my next one. It's a team that's starting to catch fire, and it's a team that I think really was expected to be up at the top, and it's just taking some time. But it's similar to what they did last year when they were on their way to a World Series victory, and that's Atlanta Braves. They started off slow again last year and then got rolling. I know some of the Acuna injury, he got hurt, came back, got hurt again. Now he's back. They're still trying to figure things out, but the bats are heating up. And they're heating up in Colorado, which is a good thing for them because they're on their way. They've won the first 3 in the series. They won 1 in Arizona, so they're on a 4-game win streak. They're undefeated in June, and now they roll in today with Charlie Morton versus Ryan Feltner. Feltner's been pitching pretty well actually for the Rockies, but he's more of a long relief type of pitcher, and he's a guy that they've plugged in, and he's done well in this starting role, but he's not a guy I trust. When I look at the Braves, over the past 10 days, they're 6th in weighted runs created. They're 4th in WOBA. They're 3rd in batting average, batting 290, 3rd in slugging. They're a team that's just hitting. And if the Rockies can't keep up, I think we're going to see a good value today where the Braves are able to create a gap and let Morton just settle in. Morton's just been up and down, a little bit of a roller coaster. Can't really figure out where he's at, but I can tell you he's 2.5 runs better with his ERA in May than he was with April. So at least he's trending in a better direction. He's a guy that has, a FIP that's lower than his current ERA. He's a guy that we can see him starting to improve. I think some of the numbers will regress back to normal for him. And then here's the other point that I like. I mean, I know it's a small sample size, but the Braves are 4 for 8 off Feltner in their career with 3 home runs. So they've seen him a little bit. They know what he's about, and they've been able to have some, short-term success against him. I don't like those numbers in a total vacuum, but when you add up their recent play, how hard they've been hitting the ball, their 4-game win streak, and you're getting them only minus 150 today. They're coming off a big extra innings win yesterday when they scored 4 in the 11th to create separation and win. I think they have the momentum going, and we're getting a little discount, I feel, on the Braves today because of Charlie Morton's probably subpar season. So minus 150, I'm all in. Braves are the better team. Let's roll.
I like what you're saying, and you're talking about Braves and the power that they're bringing recently. So I had to just quickly look at that. They're 11.2% barrel rate as a team. Ooh. So remember, in 2022, to get that type of metric, wow. I mean, that's powerful. Second highest, only behind the Yankees by 0.1. So that's just amazing. You got a team that's at 42.5% hard hit percentage as a team this year. That, again, as we talked about the theme of 2022, you got to respect that. Third highest in the league with that number. You went over the WOBA and on base. I think ISO numbers as well. If you did, ISO's at 182.
Yeah.
182
really good.
Is a very high number. These are numbers that are hard to get this year, and you're finally getting into a season. You get an idea of how what some of these teams' characteristics are. I think the Braves, as you said, are defining themselves to be a power hitting team. And if they continue to show what they've been doing, the numbers are showing it. So I like that. They're walking 8.2% as a team. That's great. The only stat I don't like is that they strike out a little bit higher than many folks. But if you're a power bashing team, you're trying to crush the ball. So you have to expect a higher percentage of strikeouts there, because your motto is go for it, go for it, go for it. More than maybe some other placement type of play. Just a thought. So I like where your head's at. You mentioned Colorado, high altitude. If you got a powerful team coming in there, they're just getting a boost with the weather and the altitude. I see it's 83 degrees. So the weather, temperature's better. At least we're not in the 50s like a month ago and things like that. I'm with you. I like that. I think the Braves can get the job done. Like you said, to sum it up, the better team is the Braves here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you get a better line, like you said. And again, look at -1 if you can get -1.
That could add some real good value. You could probably be down there even money. But hey, I know you have a lean out there. I'll give a lean too, but let's start with yours.
Yeah, lean. I know you are all out there on Twitter doing this already. I don't need to tell you. You're attacking Patrick Corbin. It's simple as that. I mean, is he going to have a good game? Everyone deserves one good game. I don't know when it's coming, and I'm not going to guess what. There's no need to guess that. He's been terrible. You all know that. What's interesting is also he's just always giving up over 2.5 runs. So last night, over 2.5 runs at the Reds was -120. I didn't take it. This morning, as I'm preparing for the show, I did see it at -130. I'm sure that's going to change. They'll probably push it up to 145, my guess. There isn't much to say about it. Patrick Corbin gives up a lot of runs this year, a lot of hits, a lot of everything. And you have the Reds, and the Reds are projected third highest run total today at 5.46. And I should revert back to your play. The Braves are actually highest projected run total of the slate today at 6.29. And the Reds here facing Corbin, Reds themselves 313 against lefties. Corbin's given up 302 to the left and 384 to the right. I just think there's enough. Even it would just behoove us not to take it. So that's my lean. Only reason I'm not doing official. I just feel like it's such a square play, and it's like everybody not square. It's just like everyone's on it. Everyone. I don't. It's like get out of here. I'm not mad at anybody that they're on it. We all should be on it, right? Yeah. If you're capping, you do anything, we all should be on this. I'm just being silly. I don't want to be on it. So it's a lean. I think I'm on two things that I feel creative about, and that's where I want to be at personally.
I like it. I played Houston as well yesterday, even before you posted, and I felt like that was square. But I knew I just said Bubik, 12 and a half ERA. I lefties, and they're going to tear him up. And I'm with you. It's the same thing here. Since he has been playing a lot better lately. Obviously, they put up 8 runs yesterday, lost, but they've been hitting the ball well. I like the play. I'm with you. Maybe go a little light. That's all we'll tell people. Right. Maybe I might still play, but go a little light. But I do like that situation. I think you got a good angle there. Corbin is just. I mean, even if you hit Corbin 70% of the time, which he's going over that, well, you're winning.
this argument doesn't make sense, but the Royals dropped Bubik, then they picked them up because of roster reasons, right?
Yep.
But if you go look at stats and a little bit of analytics, I think they'll do it head to head, but I think I can guesstimate Corbin's got to be just as worse. And here he is going to pitch another starting game. So I don't know what some of these clubs have in mind, what their money situation is, what their leashes are, but what they're doing. But I just don't get it. It's just really weird. When I just look at it from that perspective, I'm like, wow, they're letting Corbin pitch again. Okay, you got to take it, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, I don't disagree at all. I like it. I do have one other small lean. I think Baltimore might score a little bit today on Plesac, but I'm going to lay off that and give you a prop similar to what Tech did earlier. I'm looking at a few of the teams out here, and I'm going to tell you, I'm a big fan of Kevin Gausman this year.
Right.
He's really found himself in Toronto. I know he kind of found himself last year in San Fran, but he leads the league in WAR on Fangraphs. He's just been really, really good. He's had an inflated batting average of balls in play and still is able to have a very low ERA. We're getting his K prop at 6.5 today, and you're getting plus money at plus 110. The reason I kind of like it, Minnesota since May 19th is 8th in K rate at 23% against righties. Gossman's gone over the 6.5, 6 of his 10 games. So we have a situation here where I'm seeing value where this should hit 60% of the time, and I'm getting plus money. So I'm leaning towards Gausman over that number. When we need to get there, it's really, can he go deep into the game? And I think he can against Minnesota. I know Minnesota is one of those teams that is pretty good offensively, but they're still missing Correa. I think Buxton just came back. He's in and out of the lineup here and there, but they have a reduced lineup. And for that reason, I think Gausman is a pretty decent play today. 6.5 plus 110 on DraftKings. I'm going to play that one for sure as a K prop.
I like it. I just ran a quick filter on the stats here and just looking back to about, I think the last 2 weeks, capturing back to May 22nd, Sunday to this Sunday, the Minnesota Twins do have an elevated strikeout rate versus the entire season for themselves. They're jumped up to 24%.
Yeah.
If we start probably nitpicking more in the last many games, it might even be higher. So I'm with you. I like what you're thinking there.
Yeah, and Gausman's like he pitches primarily 2 big pitches. He throws the fastball, which is solid fastball, tracks somewhere in the 95 mile an hour range. So definitely has some juice on it. It has some movement, but it's his split finger, which is out. The teams in the majors, Minnesota very good at split. They actually run 17th against the split when you look at weighted runs. So versus best pitch, they're a negative team. That's why I think we're going to get some whiffs today, and I think that's a big reason I like Gausman as well.
I like it.
Cool, Tech. You got anything else for the people?
No. I'm just, I'm just glad we have. I just think it's great. I'm going to do a parlay at plus 118. First, if you missed it, we'll tweet it out. And then we're on the primetime game, so I have action at night. Usually Sunday nights, I start getting a little itchy because I might not have something to care about because my teams aren't in the playoffs or something. So I think that'll give us something.
I love it. And then you can ride that right into the Golden State Celtics game. So it's going to be a good day of sports as it always is on
Yes. So some of you followers out there, you got a busy plate. So hopefully we can give you extra cash and go do whatever you want to do in your NBA stuff.
Yeah, I love it, man. And yeah, how about that hockey game last night?
Whew.
I mean, nobody's beating Avalanche. Nobody.
No. And they've been, I was talking to a best friend of mine a couple of nights ago. We went to the Village Pub, which you may be aware of.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how before COVID, some of us diehard viewers, if you're a fan or not, we expected Avs to win back then. And then they got Darcy Kumper. So we were like, oh, it's a lock. But we laughed about how Darcy Kumper never was anything near who he was at his prior team. And we were laughing at how that organization must have knew something about him. We're just joking. But it's good to see the conversation, and it's good to see that the Avs are back. So we were kind of bandwagoning back to our conversation. Like, we knew the Avs were going to do it. But it makes sense. They're a full team. Oilers don't bring a defense. You already know that watching. NHL is my favorite sport. I love watching it. I played different types of hockey growing up, just not deep in the clinics and stuff like that. So I just love the game. I love the sport. I think NHL playoffs are the best type of playoffs out there. So I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah, the Rangers are surprising too. I think, a lot of the angles of how they're shooting up on the pad side of what's his name?
Igor.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're just taking advantage of some of the holes they see, and they're just playing a little bit, to me, more physical. Now, I know at home, and in a way it can be different. So we'll see how they bring their game when they move this series to Tampa. Now up 2-0 though, they're doing some damage that I think nobody expected. Nobody.
Yeah, I see now. Goal, like if you just look at box scores, because a lot of you can just go do that. The Rangers don't allow many goals during the year. The goalie's been a stud, right? And then so I think a lot of people thought, well, Tampa Bay can outshoot and outscore it anyway. And I would have expected to. I didn't expect Rangers to go 2-0. I'll be honest. I never gave them that much credit.
Yeah.
And I could be just biased against them. But they to go 2-0, not 1-1, that I didn't expect that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So look, playing down in Tampa is hard. When you play down in Tampa and the Panthers, even I know the Panthers are out, those are very hard games to win. Not just this year, it's just been like that for a couple seasons. So you never know, man. Tampa can take 2 down here.
But we're going to have a great Stanley Cup Finals no matter what, just like we're having in the NBA. So
Yep.
All right, Tek, that wraps up an action-packed half hour here at the Smoke Shop from Heat Ratio Sports Network. I'm Dave Gloeckner. That's Tek Money. Until next week, follow us on Twitter. We're always giving you what we think, what we like, what we lean. But today we got some good ones. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next week, next Sunday, we'll be back with some more Smoke Shop.